So since I can't tell the AI to build itself yet, right? I need to rely on something else called talent. Right. Therefore, I'm really, really, really happy, and something that honestly makes me super happy, to introduce, to announce that we are setting up the Jupyter Research Center. Yay! I mean, the goal is simple, right? It's research, right? I'm saying, but it's actually more. But really, the whole point, right, is to kind of like get the best and the smartest and the most brilliant people, right, into one place, right? To do things that I can't do. I mean, guys, seriously, do you think I know ZK? Look at my face. No, I don't understand ZK. Right? But that's not the point, right? The point is actually to kind of really put together people who do, right? And so I think the whole point here is simple. We want to become the very best center in crypto, right? Focus on open source blockchain cryptography, open source security and US research, and obviously SVM. We want to contribute a ton to SVM as well, and also like really kind of like growing the talent pool, right? Because honestly, I love meme coins, right? I really fucking love meme coins, right? And I don't buy them, but I love them, right? I try a lot to encourage the proliferation of meme coins, and I believe that everyone should have a meme coin. However, it would not be too great if everyone should have meme coins. Right, you still need people who, right? Am I right? Yeah. So I mean, you need people to show meme coins, right? But you also need people to, build hard tech, right? So I think in that sense, I think JRC will also be extremely focused, right, on talent, like education and recruitment, right? And I'm really happy to share that like it will be anchored by some of the really the best people that I have worked with. And to be clear, they are a pain in the fucking ass. All right, I swear to fucking God, right? They will tell us the same, right? Anyway, the first one, Nicholas, who we're going to hear from later on about, who's going to present from used to be Sona FM, right? Next is Dean, who is best known as a quantum cat, who recently published a quantum resistance for SVM. Yeah, and I'm supposed to read it. He promises that it's easy for me to read, but I don't believe him. I'm gonna try anyway. Okay, so my goal is simple. My goal is to find 1 week this year to sit down with him and understand that shit. Okay, that's my goal. All right, and then and Suji and Ronnie, who are tremendous, who have been tremendously helpful for Jupyter, immensely helpful. I can't say how many immense I can because it's amazing. Like if you ever wondered why Jupyter can ship so fast, right? I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? Like those guys are a big part of it, right? Definitely. So I think, anyway, in summary, I think Nicholas has been driving the Jupyter project for a while now. Dean has been extremely helpful in our team in solving kind of like the hardest technical problems, right? And he's a pain in the ass, but I'll get into later. And then you have Suji and Ronnie, who has been like, just the best security researcher in the space. And again, they, for example, they won the Paradigms like capture the flag competition. They have been leading like probably the best audit firm in crypto for a while now, I think. Yeah, and you're gonna hear from them later on. Yeah, cool. So that's the Jupyter Research Center, and they are going to be, and along with the extremely better hardened Jupyter team, which have built you features like the the Jup aggregator, the DCA and VA, and the first version of April. We are going to be trying. The keyword is trying. Okay, very important. Trying. Okay, to build the Omnichain network together. That's what we're going to do. Okay, sounds good. We try. All right. All right. With that in mind, who's next? Nick. All right. With that in mind, I'll introduce Nick. Let's go. Hey.
Guys, we've been, the whole team at JupNet have been really trying their best to keep their mouth shut over the past 4 months because we've been so anxious to share with everyone what we've been building so far. The day has finally come. Okay, let's go. So, I'm Nick. I'm the pre-quantum cat at JupNet. I don't do ZK. Maybe I do. Who knows? But yeah, I used to be a co-founder at Solana FM. And I was a garbage creator, so I created a lot of garbage for people to clean. Okay, so yes, and that actually is me. So this meme got really popular 2 years ago, so I thought, why not dump it there? All right, let's go quick. So there are three main pillars, as Meow said, that support a unified omni-chain network. And the three things are BERTs, which are doves, the omni-chain ledger, and ADI. So with these three systems, I'm going to give you a brief overview about how they work together, and then we'll hop on with more explanation right afterwards. So doves, what are doves? So doves, again, are decentralized oracles that validate and execute. So they do not three things, they do one together as three. So remember, all three things come together as one. So why? Why do we want to do that? Initially, traditional systems are a real mess. So what example can we give from there? So the diagram you see here is that a number of oracles come together, all three of them respectively. They look through some certain amount of data. They want to say, I want to get the live price of corn, right? And then I'm going to send the live price of corn to a validator node on Solana. And then I'll probably want to send some form of transaction on-chain on a program. And then the Oracle program will probably publish the price. And there's a huge gap for that. Like, you need three different systems to maintain, because in the context of doves, when you go onto JupNet, when you want to execute a transaction or trade from any chain, we will not want you to think about the other chains. You just stay in JupNet, make your trades in JupNet, and off you go. So there is definitely a need for an executor to execute the trades for you on those chains. So therefore, in a traditional system, you need three different systems, and that is so complex to maintain. But welcome to doves. So doves, they are trust-minimized systems, very scalable and efficient, and they have one unified architecture. So how do they process transactions from other chains, right? You're probably wondering about that. So here is how it looks like. Crazy, right? So rather than having so many systems, you just have three simple subsystems, users included, and just two steps. So Jupyter SVM, what do we have there? So from now on, Jupyter SVM is going to have 12 kilobyte transactions. What does that mean? So what that means is that transaction sizes are now 12 times bigger. You can do so much more than that. You can do ZK circuits. You can do almost every use case that is probably not possible in chains with much smaller transaction sizes. And afterwards, you've been wondering, or maybe some of you have been trading Ethereum tokens, and you'll realize that they support a different type of number, right? Your number of tokens is based on U256, so it's a very huge number compared to what we have in Solana. But in Jupyter SVM, we support both EVM coins and Solana tokens. Last but not least, Jupyter SVM has new SVM primitives, something that Dean will be sharing later on, so I'll not spoil the surprise. All right, so we move straight to how doves validate and execute and observe outer chain transactions. So this is an overall diagram of how it basically looks like. You have four doves with a few chains, and then you have a gossip protocol right inside doves that basically work in harmony together to validate an omni-chain transaction. So this is the lifecycle. Don't try to read this. Don't try to read this. We're going to break it down, so don't worry. So let's kick off. So at the very beginning, when an omni-chain deposit comes into JupNet, we basically will hit an API. You got to remember this. It's a simple API, and once this API receives the transaction, it's a dove. The dove will now go through a verification stage, verify the transaction against that outer chain, and then go through some deduplication process where we have not one, but two different security subsystems that prevent duplicates. So one, you have short-term replay prevention, and then next, you have long-term ones. So yeah, we have basically one in memory and the other one in RocksDB. So that's basically what you generally have in JupNet. All right, so at the very tail end, when the deduplication phase is done, the transaction, the deposit is valid, the consensus will now agree. So all birds will have to come to agreement, right? Because some take much faster. Once they come into agreement, the entire omni-chain transaction will be final, they will republish it, and it will end up on the omni-chain ledger. So this is basically the whole life cycle, like the whole big complicated diagram we see earlier in 3 steps. All right, so basically DAFs enables Omnichain token support with U256, modular exponent support because we need that for ADI, EVM support, UTXO support for Bitcoin, Dogecoin, or any other coin in the traditional world of blockchains, up to 12 kilobytes of transaction size, Omnichain finalities, remember, not 1, 2 finalities, so that fast deposits and big sum deposits can be processed at different stages. And of course, we have BLS signature aggregation, basically the way the DAFs validate Omnichain transactions. And with that, I'm going to pass on my time to Dean. Dean, let's go!
Yeah.